Hello, it's John, and on this short video, I'm going to explain to you a little bit more about our Members Handbook. Okay, so the Members Handbook can be found on MyCloud. I'll show you where, if I can. Yep, there we go. It can be found on MyCloud. There is a folder for all members, and your link that I will give you will take you directly to all members. And you can find the information in there, and you'll find that there is a folder called Handbook, and in the Handbook folder you'll have a number of things, specifically the Members Handbook, and then a whole load of supporting documents that will build up over time. So looking at the Members Handbook itself, that's something that has been in development really over a number of years now. It began as the initial contract for our personal assistants, and then it became an employee's handbook as we added more information in as well, or an employee members handbook as we added more information in as well. But for this year, for 2022, we decided to make it into a more generic members handbook that everyone can have access to and have a copy of, and it explains all about the way that Northwest Care Co-Operative operates. It's quite generic, so it explains it in general terms, and then there's a couple of separate documents that are specific for each personal assistant. So let me quickly kind of explain it to you. As I say, handbook for all members, and it's got a contents page which kind of explains everything that's in it, and that will build up, I'm sure, over time. And then if you go into the handbook itself, it talks about our service, the values that underpin the way we operate as Northwest Care Cooperatives, the way we distribute responsibility through self-managing personal assistants, the way we deliver our care or support, the way we manage risk, talk about recruitment, we talk about the qualifications necessary to work in Northwest Care Cooperative, we talk about induction, training, we talk about supervision, of which there is none. It's more coaching that we do, and that's kind of explained in more detail. We talk about the management performance, regulatory oversight, other compliance, how we maintain records. That explains a little bit about how we use MyCloud, specifically the daily record of care. And we do that, we use WhatsApp to create that. It explains a little bit more about how to use WhatsApp. How our costs and budgets are calculated and how support is funded. And then we go into details of the contract of employment for our personal assistants. And in this particular contract, it talks about all the things generally. So it talks about cooperative membership, the start date that people have, the probationary period, employment, and so on and so forth. All the normal things that you would expect to see in a contract, but none of them is specific to any particular personal assistant. It's all general detail for every person who might be employed within the cooperative. And it explains how all things, the rules and what we do and how it all operates. And there's quite a bit of detail on that. I'm sure we'll add more detail over time. And at the end of that particular section, there is what we call a contract of employment summary as an appendix. And that allows us to create a separate document that you will each have in your own personal files that explains the precise detail of your contract of employment. So the role that you're employed in, the number of hours that you're contracted to a week, your rate paid per hour, when you started, which is important for, kind of tax and redundancy and employment sort of purposes, when you completed your induction. And then it talks about how much leave you're entitled to based on your contracted hours per week. And that's there. We ask you to sign that at some point to show that you've read and understood it, and also that you've read the key bits around safeguarding, which are essential to the way we operate. And we'll keep a record of that on file and update it every year as sort of contracted hours sometimes go up and down, and we can sort of mess around with that, pay rates change, etc. So we'll try and make a point of updating that every year. And so that in general is the Members Handbook. There'll be a couple of other appendixes that are added on. There's some that exist, your coaching record, development record if you do any training, but we'll probably add more things in as well. And critically, the way we'll do that, if you look into the document, if we sort of, if I just track back up and find an example for you. So for example, here you've got a little bit on induction, and at various stages in the document, it will show it will refer to key supporting documents, all of which are shown as links. So when we're talking about induction, there is a checklist for what we go through an induction. So if you click on that link, it'll take you to the place in my cloud where that information is actually stored and displayed. So you can see the induction checklist. So the idea is that what we'll be able to do is through the Members Handbook, which will be a kind of central document that you'll be able to go to. It will be the go-to document to understand the way that we operate and to find all the information you need about the way that we operate. And if there are any more detailed documents that explain particular policies around safeguarding or around health and safety, all that kind of stuff, then you should be able to find those documents somewhere within that handbook folder, or you should be able to link to those documents from within the handbook. So everything is in one place for you to find easily. It's easier for me to update and make sure that the version that is there held centrally is the most up-to-date version, and you will be able to get access to the most up-to-date version of all the information that you need as a member of the cooperative. So that's the Members Handbook. Watch out for the next video, which will tell you more about the way we work. And of course, if you've got any questions or comments, then you know how to get hold of me. Thank you very much.